Thanks for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and all eyes are on the southern border as Title 42 sunsets tomorrow. And just as a refresher, this law allowed the government to prevent migrants from crossing the southern border to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So since March of 2020, millions of migrants were sent home or returned to Mexico under this policy. But the pandemic emergency, that ends tomorrow, along with these border limitations. But as Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas put it today, quote, "The lifting of the Title 42 public health order does not mean our border is open." But our Roxanne Elias is at the San Ysidro border crossing in San Diego right now to give us an idea of how things are looking ahead of tomorrow's expiration.
We're at the San Ysidro border crossing. We're on the other side of these concrete beams. There are reported 400 people here waiting for Title 42 to end tomorrow. I want to let you guys take a little bit of closer look at the families that are staying here, their children, families that have been here for up to 7 days. I just spoke to a gentleman who says he is here all the way from Colombia with his 80-year-old mother that can barely walk. He says there's hardly any restrooms. There's no access, if not just limited access to food and water. There are volunteers here that are handing out water and some food and supplies. But the people here tell me it's just not enough. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so they're searching for a lot of answers. There's a lot of unknown out there as they're desperately waiting for help here at the San Ysidro border crossing.
All right, Roxanne, thank you. Let's get caught up on some other stories. A Tracy man is being held on no bail tonight, accused of double homicide and a love triangle with his wife and his wife's girlfriend. Tracy police say that 55-year-old Satnam Sumal walked into the police department lobby around noon on Monday and confessed to the two killings. The shootings happened in the 2400 block of Sunflower Lane, and the exact motive is still under investigation right now. All right, care cannot wait is the message from child care workers from across the state. They met at the Capitol today demanding more funding for essential services. Lawmakers have included $1 billion in their funding to increase child care workers' salaries and suspend family fees.
A family fee is charged to a family even if they have qualified for subsidized care, which is the most unusual thing. They qualified for subsidized care and yet they're being charged a family fee, sometimes upwards close to $600 a month.
You might be wondering what's next. Well, they need the governor to include the funding in his final budget. That will be unveiled on Friday. The FDA's advisory panel has endorsed over-the-counter sales of birth control pills. The vote paves the way for what could be the first birth control pill available without a prescription. The FDA is expected to make this final decision coming up this summer. All right, let's head out to Grass Valley because a historic gold mine, it could be reopening there, but hundreds of locals say that they do not think this is a good idea. And today they made their voices heard by showing up in droves to the Nevada County Planning Commission. Our Jeannie Nguyen was at the meeting today and gives us a better look at what they all had to say.
We have been here all day, and as you can see behind me here, there are hundreds of people here. A majority of them are here to oppose the reopening of the mine, and they want their voices heard during today's Planning Commission meeting. But the CEO behind the company that wants to reopen this mine tells me he truly believes this will be beneficial to the Grass Valley community.
This mine has a very long history since 1865 and has produced a total of 2.4 million ounces of gold.
This is the Idaho-Maryland mine in Grass Valley, an important part of the history of the California gold rush.
It was producing 120,000 ounces of gold per year in 1942 and was the second largest gold producer by annual production in the entire United States at that time.
The mine closed for good in the 1950s, and then in 2017, Rise Gold Corporation bought it. Ben Mossman, CEO, says his company started immediately working to try to reopen it.
No one knows how much gold could be there because not enough drilling's been done, but it could be substantial.
To get this started, Mossman started going through the county to get approvals to start the process of reopening the mine. That process resulted in a full environmental impact report. And
please just say no to the mine.
No mine. Don't approve this mine.
More than 300 people opposing the mine's reopening signed up to publicly speak during today's Nevada County Planning Commission meeting. The commission's goal is to ultimately recommend the Board of Supervisors if they should pass or deny Rise Gold's permit to start the reopening process. During today's meeting, the Planning Commission got a chance to ask environmental consultants to clarify the impacts this would have around the area.
500 tons of mineralized rock.
The environmental impact report was completed in December and is about 10,000 pages long. While Rise Gold says they will do everything they can to make this the most environmentally friendly mine, people like Tony Laria think differently. He says he lives about a mile from the mine and believes it will severely impact his water supply.
4 million gallons a day being pumped out of our aquifers. With the fractured bedrock that there's no guarantees, and there's no way to predict how that water will travel. The only thing you can predict is gravity. Gravity will draw down to the lowest point, and many of our wells will go dry.
On top of those concerns, Laria believes this will drive away visitors to Grass Valley coming to seek an escape from the city life.
The money comes from the tourism. They love the Yuba River. They love the nature here. No one will come to a mining town and try to smell the toxic air.
But Mossman says he believes this area will benefit from a new type of business.
You have your employees are spending money in town, and your company spending money. Adds up to $50 million per year in new local spending, which creates an additional 300 jobs.
Even with the possibility of hundreds of new jobs to the area, young people like Walter Helvin believe it'll have the opposite effect of what Mossman predicts.
I don't think bringing in jobs with a mine is the best way to do that. I think considering wildfire preparedness and a lot of other issues like creating conservation easements and other kinds of ways to preserve environmental space and open space in this county and across the rural and urban places is a better way to bring in jobs or do something of that kind.
Regardless of the criticism, and with gold costing more than $2,000 an ounce today, Mossman still firmly believes this can only help the community.
Because there were so many people that signed up to speak during today's meeting, county staff believe that this meeting will have to extend until tomorrow. An ultimate decision will still have to be made by the Board of Supervisors, and that will happen no later than August.
All right, we'll continue to follow that. But coming up after the break, students at Rocklin High School walked out of class today, demanding action after a student shared an explicit video of a classmate.
We're continuing to follow that dramatic shift in our temperatures, coming from below average to well above how hot it's going to be over the Mother's Day weekend.
And still to come, locals got to this hidden gem in Stockton for authentic East Asian cuisine, and it's become a place to pass down for generations.
It's like Asian street food, yeah. It's like
a neighborhood gathering?
Like neighborhood gathering, yeah. It's like the Asian night market afternoon in Angel Cruz Park in Stockton, California.
All right, we'll hear from the people who are keeping it alive and keeping traditions going. All right, I don't know about you, but I was in the Big Mountain backyard today, relaxing in the sunshine, enjoying my lunch. It was very nice out.
It really was, and finally we're starting to feel a little bit more spring-like as we move forward in the forecast. Today's still below average, but all in all, with the sunshine, like Alex was saying, it sure felt nice out there. Low 70s to right around the mid 70s in the valley, 60s for the foothills, and 50s up top for the Sierra. Tonight, if you're headed out, temperatures will hold in the 60s until 8 p.m. After that, we drop into the 50s. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:58, but you have until 8:06 to enjoy this gorgeous Wednesday evening. Now, in terms of spring-like feel, this is something that we've been hearing time and time again. It just hasn't felt like spring, especially with the cold weather that we've had. So we kind of crunched some numbers here. Brody Adams, one of our digital producers, found that, our average high, March 20th, the vernal equinox, the beginning of spring, 69 degrees. And then by summer, our average high is up to 91. But when you poll people, most people say they're most comfortable right around 72 degrees. It becomes too hot once we get over 88. So within a threshold, we're going to call that spring index between 65 and 85. Well, how many days have we actually hit that? For downtown Sacramento, 26 out of 51. We're running about 50% of average right now. It's just been a really cold start to May, and all of it starts to shift over this weekend. High pressure is going to build in, sinking warming air, near record heat throughout the Pacific Northwest, and that pattern stays in place deep into next week as well. Highs for tomorrow close to 60 for this Sierra. 60s and 70s down the hill. We're up to 82, though, for Oroville. As we move towards the coast, highs will be in the 60s. Move inland, we get into the 70s, and we'll stay at least a little bit below average again for one more day for some places, right around the upper 70s to near 80. Now, average high this time of year tomorrow is 80 degrees. So, again, we're going to be pretty close to that tomorrow. We have a chance of thunderstorms by the end of the weekend for the mountains. We're going to keep it dry elsewhere, but everybody feeling that warming, as you can see, into Mother's Day weekend and next week.
All right, up next, high school students are demanding accountability after a student shared an explicit video of a classmate. What action they want taken. Fed up students at Rocklin High School, they walked out of class today. They are frustrated over what they call a lack of punishment for a student accused of filming and sharing a sex video without consent. Our Devin Truby is at Rocklin High School with what we know so far about the incident. And I also want to warn you that some of you may find the details of this story disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised.
Matter of months, I went from being a well-respected, high-achieving student athlete to a student that is categorized as a school slut.
The powerful words of a Rocklin High School sophomore who we're choosing not to identify because of her age, addressing the Rocklin Unified School Board last week, recalling her worst nightmare.
Not only was I socially harassed, but it was taken a step further by students coming to my home and vandalizing it twice.
Back in November, she says she had consensual sex with a sophomore football player, but she says she did not consent to being recorded. And she says she's not the only one.
I firsthand saw this boy's collection of videos and photos of at least 50 different girls. One of the other personal attacks I have had relating to this was our senior quarterback telling my brother he was going to rape me in his truck in the school parking lot.
The teen's father, who is a football coach and teacher at neighboring Oakmont High School in Roseville, also addressed the board.
That this individual, who is clearly and admittedly guilty of distribution of child porn, there is no question here, still participates in football activities without a care in the world, is a direct indictment of the entire system. It tells young women that crimes against them are secondary to winning championships.
Months later, with still no punishment, students at Rocklin High School are fed up. Dozens of students walked out of class today, standing outside the school, holding signs in protest.
I feel very unsafe to go to a school that does not hold these boys accountable. The fact that they're still on the football team, they're still going to school, no one's talking to them, they're not expelled for anything, they're not being told that this is wrong, and they're not learning anything from this.
Demanding change, accountability, and a safe learning environment.
So the school district, they sent us a statement saying in part that some of the incidences were brought to the attention of the district earlier this year, and they have been investigated or are being investigated. There's also another school board meeting next Wednesday that students plan to attend again. All right, all month long, we are celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. There is a place in Stockton for Southeast Asian cuisine that if you drive too fast, you might miss it. And it's not a restaurant, but it's a very delicious daily cultural event. Kurt Rivera takes us there tonight.
I'm at Angel Cruise Park in North Stockton, and if you love Southeast Asian cuisine, well, this is the place to be. For more than 3 decades, the Hmong who have immigrated from Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, and more have gathered here off North El Dorado Street to cook up family recipes brought with them a world away.
Anything else here? That's it.
Mi Zhong came to the U.S. in 1980 from Laos. She's been selling her popular papaya salad here since 2009. You'll find her here in the afternoons, 7 days a week, with a steady line of hungry customers.
So right now I enjoy that because this is not for me to work a lot of money, but a couple dollars for my kids. They survive they need whatever I give to them.
Her daughter-in-law and husband also pitch in to grill the park's popular sausage and beef sticks.
But the beef sticks just sweet, and then the color just red. We just seasoning is the red, Like we put food color in all the stuff, and then like lemongrass.
The food at the park has become so popular, it has gained a large social media following.
Y'all, these big sticks was going crazy, okay? They was giving 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Ernay Nino is a repeat customer for what she says is the authenticity.
Everybody has a little bit of everything here. A very good vibe, very good culture here.
How would you describe this place?
Fun, magical, easy. It's like a family environment. People are friendly here. They all say hi to you. Oh, hi, hello, your sweet face.
David Hempersaith, you might say, is the unofficial spokesperson for the food vendors at the park. He sells a number of foods himself.
So we have like beef lap here, wild lap, some gel bong, very famous Laotian spicy cow dip sauce. The first bite, they say, oh, the umami effect. Tastes so good, flavorful, the funkiness, the sweetness, the sourness, the spiciness.
I love how alive it is.
Like a lot of parks don't have anybody in them, but this park right here would be alive, especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
Now, in all transparency, yours truly is not a very adventurous connoisseur of worldly cuisines, but come on now, you gotta try them, right?
This is, again,
Gel bong.
Gel bong.
Gel bong with a very spicy dip with cow skin.
Ah, okay.
Roasted cow skin. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Get the umami effect, the spices.
It is spicy. It's not bad. Oh, now it's getting real hot.
Papaya salad with noodles.
It's cool.
It's
refreshing.
Cool,
it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Give it a big thumbs up.
And you too will give your experience a big thumbs up after you visit Angel Cruise Park yourself. It's become a delicious way to keep Southeast Asian cuisine and its culture alive for generations to come.
And if you would like to check out Angel Cruise Park yourself, it's located in the North El Dorado Street, just south of Hammer Lane out in Stockton. And food vendors, they are there 7 days a week. All right, coming up next, if you like game shows, then make sure you stay with us after the break because there's a new game show, get this, all about game shows. And it's starting tonight right here on ABC. And we're also looking into why do we love game shows so much? Stick around to find out. All right, here's what we're working on for tomorrow. Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month was designated to recognizing the historical and cultural contributions of individuals and groups of Asian and Pacific Islander communities. So you will meet Ruth. She is a Chinese American World War II veteran. She served in the U.S. Army Corps, and at over 100 years old, she reflects back on the contributions of the Asian American community during the war.
I think young people should learn about history, about war, because there's a lot of death. If they can talk first, and then they probably won't be fighting.
Approximately 200 Chinese American World War II veterans have been identified in the Sacramento area and honored with a Congressional Gold Medal for their contributions and service. And Ruth, she's actually one of them. You can catch that story right here tomorrow at 6:30 on To The Point. All right, Jeopardy lovers, listen up to this because there's a brand new game show coming to ABC 10. And guess what? It's all about game shows. They've existed for nearly as long as broadcast itself. And the first one actually aired back in the 1940s. And since then, they have become American primetime classics. But really, what keeps us coming back? It turns out there's a science to it. Take a look.
This is Jeopardy!
From the reverse Q&A of Jeopardy to the hangman puzzle of Wheel of Fortune.
No D.
Game shows have a hold on American television and its viewers, but why? Kenneth Sumner, professor of psychology at Montclair State University, says it really comes down to connection.
I think one of the biggest reasons is that the contestants on the game shows are very much like us in the audience. They look like us, they sound like us, they know the same kinds of things as us, so I think we can identify with them actually quite well.
And once we're connected, we crave competition.
A lot of game shows are actually structured that way to get you more excited and motivated to see a great finish to a game or see someone do something particularly well.
And that great finish, coupled with that grand prize, tends to make us fantasize.
What would I do with that money to make my life better or my loved ones' lives better? It's something about the dream of it that gets people excited about game shows.
Bottom line, game shows feed our hunger for connection, competition, and camaraderie.
A lot of these things have lasted for generations and generations because they are interesting and they are compelling to people. The rules are relatively simple, but it is a great way to kind of just relax and enjoy the game and relax and enjoy the people around you.
And the Game Show is a 4-part series celebrating the iconic game show genre. It debuts tonight at 10 p.m. right here on ABC 10. And of course, Jeopardy's up next. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.